This video of Sunday's concert at the Mandalay Bay is taken by Austin Cox, enjoying the festival with his fellow Marine, Mike Vera. Nearby, Laverne resident Katrina Hannah is celebrating her best friend's bachelorette party. Then, gunshots. Katrina is hit twice, in the shoulder and in the neck, and collapses. The two Marines decide to run towards the gunfire.
Really to just get there and help people.
Austin spoke with us via FaceTime from Camp Pendleton.
Once we got there, we knew it was our job to help people.
Austin spots Katrina, a complete stranger, bleeding badly.
You know, I'm going to pick her up and we're going to make a run for it.
Austin rushes her to Sunrise Hospital, where Katrina asks him to call her mother.
At that moment, I was, really hit me.
Loretta Hannah told me that night she took this photo of Austin with blood on his arms.
I have to take a picture of you because I have to show who my daughter's angel is.
Her friends all say that you saved her life and that without you, she would be dead. How does that make you feel?
I don't really know what to say. I mean, I'm just thankful that I was there in the time that she needed me most.
He tries to live up to the Marine motto, Semper Fi, always faithful, always loyal.
And I think any Marine in my situation would do the exact same thing.
In Las Vegas, Alex Michelson.
Sean Cuddihy here at Piqua High School. I've been here talking to some folks after a Marine who graduated from here in 2011 is being hailed a hero following that mass shooting over the weekend in Las Vegas. I talked with the guy here you see on the left. He got married here in the Miami Valley a couple weeks ago. His best man on the right is Austin Cox. You see him again here on the right in this photo. He is the Marine who apparently ran towards the gunfire on Sunday night at that concert in Las Vegas where the shooting happened and saved a woman. He helped her apply pressure to some gunshot wounds and then got her to the hospital in someone else's vehicle while that other person was driving. He stayed with her and her mother all night long. We've learned he was a football player. You see him there on the left here at Piqua High School during his time here. People here, really the thing I'm hearing is that they are not surprised. They say this is exactly what they would expect from him. We're talking with his coach as well as his best friend and there's a couple other people who know him. That'll be part of a story I'm working on for News Center 7 in our 90 minutes of news starting at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, David, this is one of the most incredible stories that I've ever heard. This man's selflessness and bravery helped save the lives of 10 different people. Jason Aldean is on stage. Matt Cuddihy of Tahunga is taking video. He pans the camera to his new friend, Katrina Hannah of Laverne. Matt and Katrina met on day one of the Route 91 Harvest Festival and instantly became close. Matt came here with his family to enjoy the music. In the middle of a song, the gunfire begins. Matt tells me he doesn't panic at first.
It did sound like firecrackers.
Then Aldean leaves the stage and the shots get louder.
I looked around and I just see a few people drop to my right, to my left. I see more people drop over there, and then I look down and I see Katrina on the floor, and I knew that this was real.
Matt is trained as an EMT, studying to become a firefighter.
The scare turned off in me on the spot, and it was go to work time.
He tells everyone to get down, not to run away.
Everyone that was running was dying.
Matt notices that Katrina was shot in the neck and the shoulder.
Right away, I identified the bleed. I threw off my shirt. I applied dressing.
The gunfire continues.
I look over to my right and I see this guy shot to the head, gone. He's obviously deceased. So what I do is I pull him towards me, cover Katrina as if I can, and I have this dead guy now on my back, protecting me from incoming bullets.
Matt sees so many others in need of help, he has to leave Katrina to get to them.
Having to leave her was probably the worst thing that I've ever gone through, like in my whole entire life.
He moves through the crowd, placing tourniquets on 9 people, saving their lives.
My army crawled over to this guy, took off my belt, tourniqueted him real fast, and then I kept on crawling and over literally 2 or 3 dead people.
Sadly, he can't save everyone. 3 people die in his arms.
This family that was there, it was 2 parents and their daughter, I suppose, was on the floor. And and she had a bullet straight to the head. Half her head was missing, and they were telling me that they needed help for her daughter, and it was the hardest thing to tell them that there's nothing I can do. They need to get out of there. Their daughter's dead.
Matt is later relieved when he spots his own family. They're okay, and also trained EMTs helping others. As for Katrina, a Marine she'd never met before named Austin Cox carries her to safety and escorts her to Sunrise Hospital.
I thank him for saving her life, and she probably wouldn't be there if it wasn't for him.
Inside that hospital, Katrina writes this, quote, "Matt saved me." Matt is now here at Sunrise to show his support. He's now rethinking his career. This festival convinced him to become an Army medic.
And I'm glad I was there. I'm sure you won't hear that from anyone. I'm glad I was there because I know damn well that, a lot of those people that I treated probably would not be there if I wasn't.
What a hero. One of the people that he helped to save is, of course, Katrina, who is here. Her family has set up a GoFundMe page. If you want information about that, how you can donate, I posted links on my Twitter and Facebook page. That's at ABC7Alex. Yeah, David, that young woman from Laverne is recovering here at Sunrise Hospital, thanks in large part to the bravery and selflessness of a man trained to serve. Katrina Hannah is dancing, laughing, and loving life at her best friend's bachelorette party outside the Mandalay Bay. Moments later, the gunfire begins. Katrina is hit in the shoulder and neck and collapses. Austin Cox, a Camp Pendleton Marine she'd never met, rushes to her aid.
He's like, "I'm not a hero," and I said, you will always be my angel that saved my daughter," and I really believe they did.
Katrina's mom, Loretto, told me she was also at the bachelorette party, but decided to leave early to go to bed, separating from her daughter just 3 minutes before the first shots rang out.
I felt like 20 people were shooting, and it felt like it was right next to us.
Loretto didn't know that Katrina had collapsed, losing her phone in the process. Austin picked her up and stayed with her all the way to Sunrise Medical Center. Katrina could barely speak, but kept telling Austin her mother's phone number.
He said, "I will stay with her. I'm not going anywhere."
Outside the hospital, Loretto took this photo. You can see blood on Austin's arm.
"I have to take a picture of you because I have to show who my daughter's angel is."
Inside, it was tough for Katrina to speak, but she had questions about the shooting itself. She wrote on this board, quote, "Who did this to me?"
And I said, "One bad guy." But I said, "Look at all the people that is loving us."
15 of Katrina's friends immediately rushed to Las Vegas, including Nicole Regano of Riverside.
It wasn't a matter of if I was going to come out here to visit her, it was just a matter of how quickly I could get down here to see how she was doing.
All of them are grateful for Austin.
It's a miracle that he was there and he found her, or else she wouldn't be here with us.
Loretto is now overwhelmed by everyone's love.
Let's not concentrate on that one bad person. Everything that is coming out is good. Everything is, I see all these little blessings. I'm like so touched.
Katrina is now dealing with pretty serious wounds to her neck and to her shoulder. Her family says they got good news last night when she was able to move her legs for the first time. They say that everybody's good wishes and prayers are making a difference in helping them to stay hopeful.
When gunfire began on the Las Vegas Strip, a University of Cincinnati graduate and Marine corporal ran toward the danger.
That's right, and Austin Cox is one of dozens of people now being called a hero from that scene. 9 on your side's TJ Parker joins us live in studio with his story and how he helped save a woman's life. TJ?
Yeah, Craig, this is really a remarkable story, and in the middle of the tragedy in Las Vegas, we're hearing many stories of heroism. Among those heroes, a pair of Marines who one of them went to school here in Cincinnati and who helped a California woman injured in the shooting. This video of Sunday's concert at the Mandalay Bay is taken by UC grad Austin Cox, enjoying the festival with his fellow Marine, Mike Vera. Nearby Laverne resident, Katrina Hannah is celebrating her best friend's bachelorette. Then, gunshots. Katrina is hit twice in the shoulder and the neck. She collapses. The two Marines decide to run toward the gunfire.
Really to just get there and help people.
Austin spoke via FaceTime from Camp Pendleton.
Once we got there, we knew it was our job to help people.
Austin spots Katrina, a complete stranger, bleeding badly.
I'm going to pick her up and we're going to make her run for it.
Austin rushes her to a nearby hospital where Katrina asks him to call her mother.
At that moment, I was, really hit me.
Loretto Hannah took this picture of Austin with blood on his arms.
I have to take a picture of you because I have to show who my daughter's angel is.
I don't really know what to say. I mean, I'm just thankful that I was there in the time that she needed me most.
He tries to live up to the Marine motto, Semper Fi, always faithful, always loyal.
And I think any Marine in my situation would do the exact same thing.
And Austin grew up in Piqua, Ohio, near Dayton, and according to UCU records, he was enrolled in the College of Education, Criminal Justice, and Human Services from 2011 to 2012. Truly, just a remarkable young man right there.
And that instinct, I mean, from the Marine Corps, we've heard stories of the veterans running in, and police officers, just that instinct, that training kicks in, and they were running there. And true civilians even going and rescuing people. Amazing story.
But also his mention of that kind of golden rule concept. He said you would do it for anybody, do unto others as you would have done to yourself.
And so young, too.
Yeah, my goodness.
Thanks, TJ.
In the middle of the tragedy, we're hearing many stories of heroism. Among those heroes, a Marine from Piqua. Marine Austin Cox sacrificing himself to save others. Fox 45's Siobhan Anderson talked with people who knew him, saying he's an inspiration and a hero. She joins us now with more. Siobhan?
Adam, this type of selflessness is normal for Austin. At least that's what everyone told me today. He's the true definition of the insignia he wears daily, Semper Fi, always faithful. It's not often tragedy happens and hope is found in a small town thousands of miles away. In Piqua, flags fly half-staff, remembering lives lost, also giving this community another reason to be thankful for one of their own.
When I did hear about this, I wasn't surprised that he made the decision to put himself in harm's way.
2011 Piqua graduate and Marine Austin Cox being called a hero. He's stationed in California and took time off in Las Vegas with a fellow Marine. The pair quickly found themselves in the middle of gunfire at the Route 91 Harvest Festival. Austin talking with reporters shortly after the chaos.
Once we got there, we knew it was our job to help people.
They ran towards the scene, finding Katrina Hannah, who was shot in the shoulder and neck. Austin didn't hesitate.
We're going to pick her up and we're going to make her run for it.
Hannah survived.
At some point, I would think that his military training kicked in, but that's not the reason he did that. I believe that that's the person that he is and was.
Today, staff at his alma mater saying he's an inspiration, remembering the larger-than-life kid who once walked the hallways.
I texted him and I said simply, I'm just glad that I was able to be a part of your life. I'm very proud of you for what you do.
Austin humble in his newfound spotlight.
I don't really know what to say. I mean, I'm just thankful that I was there in the time that she needed me most.
The injured woman, Katrina Hannah, asked Austin to call her mom during the shooting. Austin reportedly told her mother he wouldn't leave Hannah's side. Now her mother calls Austin her daughter's angel. Siobhan Anderson, Fox 45 News.
Wow, so many powerful stories.
Who did this to me? How one mother and daughter went from a bachelorette party to a Las Vegas ICU. Not long before the shooting began, Katrina Hannah was sitting on a friend's shoulders, raising her arms and grinning as a guitar solo echoed over the crowd. Now her mother wonders if she will ever see her daughter like that again. The pair had driven to Las Vegas from Southern California last week to take part in a multi-generational bachelorette party. Their group included the bride-to-be, bridesmaids like Katrina, and several of their mothers. On Sunday, Loretto Hannah, 57, was tired and decided to leave the last night of the Route 91 Music Festival a little early. Her daughter, Katrina, 23, stayed on with friends, including a young man named Matt, whom she had met at an earlier concert. They promised to make sure she got home safely. As Miss Hannah neared the exit, she heard the firing begin. It was forever, she said. I felt like it was 20 people shooting. It was so loud and it felt so close. She and a friend of Katrina ran into a bar on the concert grounds. For the next 45 minutes, Ms. Hannah lay flat on the floor, trying frantically to reach her daughter and praying that she was unhurt. Some of the first bullets fired in the worst mass shooting in modern American history hit Katrina, piercing her neck and shoulder. Her new friend Matt stayed with her, while a young Marine named Austin sprinted over to help. The two young men lifted Katrina over the fence of the concert grounds, got her into a car driven by a stranger, another angel, said Ms. Hannah, and rushed her to the hospital. When Ms. Hannah arrived at Sunrise Hospital in Las Vegas, desperate to find her daughter, Austin was waiting for her. "He had my daughter's blood on his hands and arms," Ms. Hannah said. "I really feel these two guys saved my daughter's life." For the next 7 hours, Ms. Hannah waited. Her husband Mike jumped in a car from their home in Laverne, California to reach Las Vegas. In the chaos, no one could tell Ms. Hannah what happened to her daughter, who had arrived without any identification. Twice, hospital staff told her that the good news was they couldn't find Katrina in the morgue. When Katrina emerged from surgery, they identified her through the rings on her fingers, one with a dolphin and one with a cross. She was in critical condition, the doctor said, and heavily sedated. Inside a hospital room, Ms. Hannah found an unrecognizable version of her daughter. Her neck in a brace, her body crisscrossed with intravenous lines, unconscious and breathing through a tube. Unable to speak or move her head, Katrina communicated by writing on an erasable board with a black marker. During the brief periods when she was awake, Katrina, who was attending graduate school, was full of questions. She asked about her friend Emily, the bride-to-be, and about her younger twin brothers, and she asked one question that made her mother weep. "Who did this to me?" she scrawled. I told her, "Katrina, one bad person did this to you, but we have so many good people sending us love," said Miss Hannah. "There's one bad guy, and he is gone." The family struggled with how much to tell Katrina about the attack, especially after they informed her that 8 of her middle school friends had driven from Los Angeles and were sitting downstairs in the hospital cafeteria as a show of support. "How did they know?" Katrina wrote on the whiteboard, her mother recalled. "Bad?" Her mother said yes. "You're lucky. We're lucky, honey," Miss Hannah told her. "People are worse than you." Miss Hannah has been amazed at the outpouring of support from friends, relatives, and complete strangers. Neighbors drove her husband to Las Vegas right after the shooting because they didn't want him to go alone. The Catholic elementary school where she works held a special mass for Katrina and other victims. Volunteers at the hospital have provided meals, toothbrushes, shoes, and blankets. Katrina's throat remains too swollen to take out the breathing tube, and doctors say she will need to undergo a second surgery in the coming weeks. She flinches each time she hears the heavy doors to the intensive care unit, just outside her room, bang shut. She tried to read some of the hundreds of text messages on her phone, her mother said, but broke down crying and had to stop. Miss Hannah said she does her best not to weep in front of her daughter. But on Tuesday, as she sat in a red plastic chair in the hospital cafeteria and told the story of what happened to them, her voice shook and her eyes filled with tears. She had barely slept since the attack and felt too afraid to go to a vigil the hospital was holding for the victims later that evening. Too many people in one place, just like the music festival. "I always said it could have been my daughter," said Ms. Hannah, remembering her reaction after learning about the victims of previous mass shootings in the United States. "This time it is my daughter." Alumni injured in Vegas shooting honored at school mass. The Bishop and Matt community gathered at a school-wide mass Wednesday to pray for the quick recovery of Katrina Hannah, who was severely injured in the Las Vegas shooting last weekend. Several of Hannah's classmates attended the mass in her honor, displaying the unity of the Bishop and Matt family. The mass also celebrated the feast day of St. Francis of Assisi and the respect for all life. Hannah's friends set up a GoFundMe page to help her family recover medical expenses.
I still don't feel like any of this is real.
Katrina Hannah receives hugs from family and friends at Casa Kalina Hospital Center in Pomona.
It means so much. It makes me just want to keep fighting and get stronger and be back on my feet with all of them.
Katrina is back in California for the first time since the Las Vegas shooting and is surprised by her loved ones waiting for her. Her mom, overwhelmed by the moment.
She didn't know any of these people were going to be here, so thank you guys. It's amazing.
Her dad, hopeful she'll make a full recovery after being shot twice.
There's no doubt in my mind that there were plenty of people watching over Katrina that night.
This video shows Jason Aldean on stage and Katrina dancing moments before the gunfire. At first, Katrina thought firecrackers were going off.
I remember saying, "That's dumb," and then 2 seconds later falling to the ground. And I thought I got tased or something. I wasn't really sure what happened.
Katrina couldn't feel her legs. Her friend, Matt Cuddihy, used his EMT skills to place a tourniquet. Later, a Marine she'd never met before named Austin Cox picked her up and escorted her to the hospital.
I just remember telling him I loved him. I didn't know him. He was a stranger. I remember telling him I loved him and to call my mom.
Katrina's mom took this picture of Austin at the hospital. His quick work helped ensure Katrina was among the first in surgery.
I can't even believe a stranger would sacrifice his life instead of running himself and to save me.
Although this is the first time we've spoken with Katrina, we profiled many of those who saved her during our reporting in Las Vegas, and their heroism went viral.
A lot of people have seen the story at this point, and so we have one more surprise for you.
Katrina's all-time favorite artist, Miley Cyrus, saw our story. Her friend Aji shows Katrina a special message.
Hi Katrina, this is Miley. I have heard about you from so many wonderful people, and I just want to let you know that I am thinking about you all the time, sending all good, healing, peaceful vibes to you and all your family and your friends.
I cannot believe it. I cannot believe how much this has just gone crazy.
And how much love there is for you.
So much love. I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Overwhelmed by the love.
If you want to contribute to Katrina's recovery, there's now a GoFundMe page set up. Reporting from Pomona, Alex Michelson, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Katrina Hannah's friends and family line up for this moment. Katrina finally back in California after surviving the Las Vegas shooting. There are tears in her eyes as she sees so many familiar faces. It's also overwhelming for her mother, Loretta.
She didn't know any of these people were going to be here, so thank you guys.
This video shows Jason Aldean on stage and Katrina dancing moments before the gunfire. Katrina is hit twice, once in the shoulder and once in the neck. Her new friend, Matt Cuddihy, uses his EMT training to place a tourniquet as she's bleeding out.
The scare turned off in me on the spot, and it was go to work time.
A Marine named Austin Cox, who never met Katrina, carried her to safety and escorted her to the hospital. We spoke to him via Skype.
Any Marine in my situation would do the exact same thing.
Now that Katrina is at the Casa Kalina Hospital in Pomona, a nonprofit rehab facility, she becomes the 4th Las Vegas shooting survivor to be helped here.
We're here to treat each patient one at a time, and we'll dedicate our time to and our energy towards the Hannahs.
Dr. David Patterson, the director of the Rehabilitation Medical Center, says Katrina will need at least 8 weeks of work here.
Spinal cord injury is called a catastrophic injury. There's going to be some psychological sequelae from how the injury happened, but here at Casa Kalina we have a full capacity to handle that.
Clearly, she has a strong support system for the fight ahead.
She's been providing strength for all of these people just as much as we've been giving strength to her.
She's a fighter. She'll be walking before we know it.
We're all going to get through this, yes.
In Pomona, Alex Michelson, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
I was at the concert. I was with one other girl, but she was a little bit in front of me, so we got disconnected from each other pretty quickly after it all started. But I didn't even realize that it was a shooting. I was hit so quickly at the beginning that we had still thought it was the firecrackers or something, and I didn't really realize it was a shooting until once I got hit and I was on the ground. And then once I was hit, there was a group of strangers that covered me and talked to me and tried to find who I was with, but there was no one around me that I was with. So they covered me for a while, and then they eventually carried me to the front. gate to get me onto the stage, and then 2 Marines took over. I couldn't move my legs, so once they saw my injuries, they decided they needed to take me and took me straight to a car. They got me in a car and took me straight to the hospital. I got shot in my left shoulder and it grazed across my back, and we think it came out here. We're not 100% sure. So it peppered my spine, which left me, I couldn't feel my legs or move them for the first few days, and then I wiggled my toes, which they thought was a great sign and that I'd be able to recover. I didn't remember them helping me at first, so I didn't really know, but when they found me, it was a lot of closure for them more. But yeah, now it's just, I mean, they saved my life potentially, so it's a relationship that I'd want to keep. There's been some slow patches where it feels like I'm not recovering, and then some better days, but it's still a long process, but I'm getting stronger every day and hoping that I'll be able to walk on my own soon.
Monday marks a year since the Las Vegas mass shooting. Tonight we're checking on the progress of a survivor who was critically wounded, but who keeps moving forward, even when movement itself is a heroic act.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
For Katrina Hannah, every day is another step on a long and difficult road to recovery. A journey that began with Route 91. How often do you relive that night?
Pretty often.
Katrina was in the audience at the Route 91 Harvest Festival in Las Vegas when a man opened fire with an assault rifle from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel.
I was hit before anyone really knew it was a shooting.
58 people were killed. Katrina was one of the 422 people wounded in the worst mass shooting in modern American history. Critically wounded in the shoulder and the neck wound by far the worst. It damaged her spinal cord. People from everywhere offered prayers and support. Miley Cyrus sent her a get well message.
And I just want to let you know that I am thinking about you all the time, sending all good, healing, peaceful vibes to you and all your family and your friends.
After 17 days in the hospital, Katrina came home to Laverne, but she wasn't the same.
Initially, when she came in, she was what we call like a quadriplegic. So she was having difficulty moving her arms and her legs.
She was in a wheelchair when she started rehab, unable to feed herself, dress herself, totally dependent on others for her care. She got to work, throwing herself into her recovery with her family by her side.
I think she's realizing how strong she is too. And she wants her life back.
We'll go jog to the other end. Go ahead.
It's hard to remember how far I've come because I feel like I still have a far ways to go, and it gets frustrating. But when I watch videos of me before, it's just wow, it's crazy that I've been able to do so much, I guess.
Over her year of recovery, Katrina has earned her MBA, been a bridesmaid, and met with her rescuers. When the going gets tough, she remembers how lucky she is just to be here.
For the people that passed that night, you got to keep pushing. For the people that can't and didn't get the opportunity to fight like I did.
Nice job.
What do you appreciate most now?
I think everything. My family, my friends. I think just life itself.
Katrina suffers symptoms of PTSD. Loud noises frighten her, and she doesn't like crowds. She hasn't had any psychotherapy. That's her choice. She says her physical therapy is helping her mind and her heart to heal along with her limbs. She hopes to go back to work soon.
A rare honor for 2 San Diego Marines. They selflessly risked their lives during the 2017 Las Vegas mass shooting.
As 10 News reporter Amanda Brandeis explains, their Marine Corps training saved many lives.
What they did out there is really about character.
You can never know how you'll react in the face of terror until it actually happens.
Corporal Cox attended the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival in Las Vegas, Nevada, whereupon an active shooter took the lives of 57 concertgoers.
It was October 1st, 2017.
Initially, I thought that the music had just malfunctioned.
Confusion quickly turned into the realization that this concert venue was now a war zone.
Really, right when we knew, we kind of looked at each other. I said, we got to go.
He knew exactly what I meant.
At that moment, adrenaline just kicked in.
We were going to run where people were running from to try to help out.
Sergeant Austin Cox and former Sergeant Michael Vera first got people to safety and out of the line of fire. One of the first injured they found was 23-year-old Katrina Hannah, shot twice in her neck and shoulder.
I just knew that at that time that I was to stay with her, you know, and Mike went off to handle even more people to help. So I just knew I needed to stay with her.
Sergeant Cox created a makeshift stretcher out of a gate, getting Katrina out of the venue into the hospital.
We really, as a family, believe that she will not be here if it wasn't for Austin.
Katrina's mom, Loretta, was at Camp Pendleton as the Marine Corps honored her daughter's heroes.
You represent everything that is good, right, and just about our Marine Corps.
They each received the Navy and Marine Corps Medal, the highest non-combat decoration awarded for heroism.
Was ready to go drink some beer and listen to Jason Aldean, and then that happened, and it became the realest moment of my life.
Their decision to help strangers gave people like Katrina another day. She couldn't be here on account of doing mission work in Peru.
I'm all for it. You know, she's out living life, and she's a heck of a fighter.
At Camp Pendleton,
he is a hero and an angel, that's for sure.
Amanda Brandeis, 10 News.
A rare honor for two 1 October heroes. Marine Sergeant Austin Cox and former Sergeant Michael Vera risked their lives to save others during the 1 October shooting, and including 23-year-old Katrina Hannah, who was shot twice in her neck and shoulder.
At that moment, adrenaline just kicked in.
We were going to run where people were running from to try to help out.
Sergeant Cox created a makeshift stretcher out of a gate and got Katrina to the hospital.
We really, as a family, believe that she will not be here if it wasn't for Austin.
Both Marines are from San Diego. Katrina's mom honored her daughter's heroes at a special ceremony in Camp Pendleton. They each received the Navy and Marine Corps Medal. That's the highest non-combat decoration award for heroism. Today, Katrina is doing well, and her mom says she is doing mission work in Peru. Look at them together. It's nice. Yeah.
The day itself was, you know, it was terrifying.
I recall looking at Sergeant Cox, and he was like, "Yo, we got to get up there and help." That's the first thing that he said.
A whole lot of emotions come from it, from the day it happened till today. You know, it's just always goes through my mind. I think about it weekly, daily, just.
There's a sense of pride that comes with receiving the award, but also it's not why I did what I did. I didn't do it because I wanted an award. I didn't do it to even be recognized. I did it because I was able to, and that's what you should do. As just a decent human being, you should help if you can.
You never know how you're going to react in those situations, but definitely having Mike there with me made my decision to react so quickly very easy.
I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. And then seeing that initial reaction from everyone around you, running away from it, and the first thing that he says, being my junior, yo, we gotta get up there. I'm like, all right, well, if he's going, I'm going. Him being there helped tremendously. And I'm glad that it happened to be my best friend. I don't know, it's just being instilled in you from the get-go. I mean, as soon as you step on them yellow footprints, that's just your whole mindset, I think, changes. And every day as a Marine, I think that you need to challenge yourself and find your purpose. And that day just happened to be, my purpose was to help others. And I think going back from the training from day one has just helped me get through all that event and everything.
Katrina is one of those kids that they were just happy. No matter what, she was always happy.
She still has the friends that she had from the beginning, and then high school and college. Just the one that, put together the parties and make sure that everybody got invited to things and enjoy every minute. I mean, she just wanted to do it all. Every weekend she had a plan here and there since she was little. So just a happy kid.
We were there for a bachelorette party.
One of her very best friends was getting married, and they wanted the moms to be there. So 4 of us mom were there. We rented a house.
It was a really good weekend, lots of fun.
We had a great fun with the girls. We went to the concert every day.
She didn't really want to go to the festival on Sunday, and I was just like, no, Mom, you have to come. Like, it's the last day.
I remember telling my daughter, I'm exhausted, I'm old, I don't want to do this anymore, I need to go home.
They had all actually left about 3 minutes before the shooting started, so I was alone with one other girl. But she was about 10, 15 feet away from me, and I was hit in the first volley before anyone even knew it was a shooting.
There's 58 people now dead, more than...
I fell immediately with no one I really knew around me, and I thought I got hit in the leg because I couldn't feel my legs. I was hit once in my back on my left shoulder, and then again on the side of my neck. There was 2 Marines at the front, and they were helping people over the wall to where the stage was and putting people to hide under the stage. And one of the Marines, his name was Austin, and he realized he needed to get me to the hospital immediately. They pushed down one of the fences and laid me on it, and they carried me on the fence out of the venue. And the whole time I was just telling Austin, I was like, you need to call my mom, call my mom. I couldn't really talk.
I get a phone call from the Marine that said, I took your daughter to the hospital, you need to come over here. So I went to Sunrise and sat there and waiting for them to find my daughter. And it was 7 hours before they came and told me where she was.
They finally found me, and my mom didn't expect it to be as bad as it was. And when she walked in, I had the breathing tube in, and I wasn't awake yet. And it was a lot worse than she had realized it was gonna be.
And I didn't ask questions. I was like, just, she's alive, that's all that matters.
Katrina Hannah's friends and family line up for this moment. Katrina finally back in California after surviving the Las Vegas shooting. There are tears in her eyes as she sees so many familiar faces.
We get here to this beautiful facility. Everybody was just so amazing from day one. She got a beautiful room. The doctors were all explaining what they were going to be doing with her, and they have taken her under their wings. Just been amazing.
Katrina, she's very easy for me to remember. Always had a smile on her face in the light of the tragic event that she had been through. Was always willing to work really hard, and she didn't let that one moment in time define who she was going to be. Wanting to get better and to make her goals challenged me as a therapist to push her harder.
Wendy really allowed me to walk a lot. In our therapy sessions, I'd be like, I want to walk. She'd be like, okay, let's go for a walk. And so it was just really exciting to be able to be pushed and see the different things I could do and just my walking progression.
Katrina had been through other areas of our hospital, med-surg unit, inpatient, so she came to us still very weak and balance issues, endurance issues. She has progressed tremendously. She's going to continue to progress tremendously. I've always been impressed with how she's handled this whole dramatic event with a lot of poise and dignity. And she's always very grateful, and despite, I'm sure, what she's feeling from day to day, she always comes in with a great smile, says thank you at the end of sessions. Very motivated, working very hard, and it's really paying off for her.
To have her family come in and see what she could accomplish, and just seeing it almost clicked with her, I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna be okay. And just to see that and seeing everything that she's overcome, it just kind of makes her day as a therapist.
Just her attitude towards therapy was excellent. She wanted to work. Over the past month or so, she's really gained a lot of her strength and endurance back. And since we've started, she was walking with a four-wheel walker when we first started. Now she's walking around the house without anything.
At first it's kind of weird when you get used to one therapist and then you go to the next, but I realized that they all have their own way of, doing therapy, and all the different ways I've been pushed has just been amazing, and I feel like all of their work together has really helped me.
We're just sort of temporary people in their rehabilitation and temporary in their medical care, but it's important to be at the right level of care. So Katrina had access to the right level of care, and hence the best outcome.
So Katrina got her 4-year degree in Cal Lutheran. So she came home and she applied to Laverne. When she got shot, she only had 2 classes left, and she got to walk on Saturday with her degree.
I'm hoping maybe towards the end of the summer I'll be able to move out. I want to go down to San Diego or a beach somewhere and find a job there.
I really did not believe, that my daughter could be 100% better. And Katrina goes, my accident was, 4 months and I'm walking. And to me, that's a miracle. And I don't know if other places would have been able to do that with her. We are very thankful, very, very thankful.